Hello and welcome to TA for Traders. It's Thursday the 7th of September. I'm Nigel Croft. In this video we'll be looking at 3 US tech stocks. We'll start with Apple. It's coming out with key launches next week, including a new Apple iPhone 8. But technically, although it reached a new high on Monday, we had a non-confirmation, so there are warning signs coming out of the charts. We'll then move on to Google or Alphabet, code GOOGL, and we'll finish with Netflix. Let's start looking at those Apple charts. Okay, so here we have the daily. You can see that we peaked earlier in the week and we've now had 3 red candles all going downwards. You can see that this has brought the RSI back. It's still above 50, so we are still showing positive momentum. But the key factor from the RSI and this pullback is that on the high on the 1st of September, the high on the RSI was not as high as it was on the previous peak, which was on the 15th of August. So we've had a non-confirmation. That's the first early warning sign of potential trouble ahead. The key support to watch here would be the 20-day moving average. That's at 160.37. That needs to hold. For this picture to continue bullish, we need to get a new move to the upside, move into new high ground with the RSI moving back above 66. You can see this lack of upside momentum starting to be shown in the MACD as well, as they're flatlining and look like they're about to start to drag downwards. Looking at the weekly picture, here as well there's been a non-confirmation on the RSI, quite a bit below the highs that were experienced in May and starting to roll down. But again, there's good supports from the moving averages, the 20-week at 152.13. MACD here not quite as negative yet. It's more of a lagging indicator on the MACD on a weekly. The short term is still above the long term. And finally, on the 4-hour on Apple, again we've had this non-confirmation on the RSI. We're finding initial support at the 20 average. In fact, we're trading bang on it, and it has given support through yesterday afternoon and the first trades in pre-market today. Below there, the 54-hour comes in at 159.85. And the moving averages are still moving up. So although we've had these non-confirmations on all the charts on Apple, be aware that if these supports hold and we do push up to new high ground again, the picture could, it does remain positive, I would say, but with warning signs. I think that's the best way to describe it. Okay, moving on to Alphabet, GOOGL. Here you can see that there's actually it could be the start of a formation of a downtrend. This is the daily, and you can see that the moving averages are moving down. When the 20 crossed the 50, it wasn't a bearish cross because the 50 was moving upwards, but they are creating resistance as they move down. The 50-day at 949.08 is the first resistance to be overcome. Above there, the high of the 1st of September would be the next resistance point. That's just below the 960. Here, the RSI trying to create an uptrend, but it's marginally below 50 at 49.32. And the MACD still okay, as the short term is above the longer term, but the differential is narrowing, so keep an eye on that. Again, a bit like Apple, we need to get a bit more upside oomph to improve the picture. I mean, really, if you're a neutral on Google at the moment, I wouldn't take any positive action until it breaks above 960. Then the picture would improve as the moving averages roll upwards. On the weekly, you can see we've come below the first support, which is the 20-week moving average. It is still a positive influence as it moves up, but it will start to roll. Here the RSI has had a non-confirmation, it is creating a downtrend, presently at 54, just below 54, and the MACD again is negative. This on the weekly just looks like a flag in a bull trend, but it needs to break to the upside before you can become positive, and there's a chance that it could become negative if that 20-week average rolls over. On the 4-hour chart, a bit of a mixed picture on the moving averages, but they are all very close to spot. The 20-week is just rolling over. The 54-hour, not the week, the 4-hour is rolling down as well. It would be a slight concern if we dip below that 938.56. That could give downside pressure to test that 920 support. You can see the 920 has been a good support level, so be aware of that. And as I said, a break above 960 would be positive. RSI here is virtually bang on 50.46, and the MACD are flat lining. Okay, moving on to Netflix. You can see that we have now filled a gap that was created after the figures on the 18th of July. That's potentially a good sign on technicals. Also quite positive that we then found support from the rising 50-day moving average, and we've gone above the resistance that was the severely downtrending 20-day. What could happen now is we're into a bit of resistance. If we have a few days trading around here, we'll get the 20 maybe cross down below the 50, but then come back up through the 50. So we could have a positive development, but that'll take a week or maybe 10 days to occur. There was a golden cross on the break upwards between the 20 and the 50 anyway, so be aware of that, but another one would be a positive for maybe another run upwards. You can see that the momentum is increasing on this market. The RSI in a nice uptrend. Presently it's 63.79. And the MACD just going above 0, which is good. Short term above long term. And they're indicating a buy sign. Going on to the weekly. And here you can see that really on the breakup that we had, we were overextended. I think I did a video on Netflix around then, and I'm sure I was saying that. But we've now come back nicely towards that 20-week, which is at 164.70, is now helping to push up Netflix, and would give support on any further consolidation. Here, there's actually been a non-confirm on the RSI, but in the weekly it's not as relevant as it is in the 4-hour or the daily, and the MACD are flat lining. Going on to the 4-hour, and you can see that we're into this resistance. We're above the moving averages again. The 20 is about to cross the 50. Keep an eye if the 50 is going up at that point. You can't tell yet. It's going to be a day or two. RSI's positive momentum. Likewise, the MACD are positive. Many thanks for watching this video. Please remember, these videos are for educational purposes only and my opinions, and they're not meant as an investment recommendation. Please do read the disclaimer. By the way, if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, do please click the subscribe button. You'll then get email updates when I come out with new videos. I don't just do single stocks in the US, I also cover single stocks in the UK. I also produce videos on foreign FX markets, commodities and stock indices. Thank you.